Jasmine Crockett went on, essentially said, hey, for my birthday, I want you to take down Elon Musk.
On March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes.
Now, this is what the Attorney General Pam Bondi had to say over the weekend about this very specific rhetoric.
Now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully because nothing will happen to Elon Musk. And we're going to fight to protect all of the Tesla owners throughout this country, and it's basic safety. Once again, domestic terrorism is going to come to a stop in our country.
Pam Bondi responded, Attorney General Bondi, and said, hey, and not just only directed at her, I mean, she definitely did direct it at her, but said, we got to cool it with this rhetoric. That violent rhetoric is not going to just go away. So if she says that and something was to happen, she will be held responsible. Of course, you have First Amendment rights, but there are First Amendment rights where you can't encourage and incite violence. And political violence has become all too normalized in this country. We have seen it over the last 4 or 5 years aggressively turn up. And sure, historically, by the way, look at our whole existence. Political violence has been a part of our nation since the founding. But we can do better. We live in a modern society, and that modern society doesn't allow you to spread violence this way. When you come off of a campaign where the Republican candidate, a former president of the United States, was nearly assassinated multiple times. When you have people's cars in their car dealerships and people being attacked because of the car they're driving.
Attorney General Pam Bondi isn't just saying things in the media saying, hey, tread carefully.
Yeah, she's getting it done.
They have charged multiple defendants now. And this is the quote from the press release from the Department of Justice. The days of committing crimes without consequence have ended, said Attorney General Pam Bondi. Let this be a warning. If you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the DOJ will put you behind bars. One defendant was armed with a suppressed AR-15 rifle, was arrested after throwing approximately 8 Molotov cocktails at a Tesla dealership in Salem, Oregon. Another was arrested in Loveland, Colorado, after attempting to light Teslas on fire with Molotov cocktails. The defendant was later found in possession of materials used to produce additional incendiary weapons. And in Charleston, South Carolina, a third defendant wrote profane messages against President Trump around Tesla charging stations. Okay, they arrested him for writing something. That was before lighting the charging stations on fire with, what? You guessed it, Molotov cocktails. So there's a pattern here of what they are using to target these places, as well as the outcome of this terror campaign going on by the left that are trying to protest, I put that in quotes, that are trying to attack Elon Musk for the Department of Government Efficiency. And these are 3 examples. These are not the end of this, I have a feeling. These are ones they were readily able to identify or were arrested on scene. But I have a feeling that there are going to be more arrests like this because it's not just peaceful protesting. It's not just even like obstructing traffic by getting out there with your signs and being loud and obnoxious.
She kind of time-stamped it, is a bit of the concern. She said, on my birthday, I would love for him to be taken down. That's a little different than saying I disagree with him and I really want him out of office. I really don't want the Doge department to happen. You are saying on this date, go do something about it. That's a bit more. That's a bit more aggressive. Now, do I think that they should? As of right now, no. If something was to happen, maybe so. Because you could point a direct line to it and said, this person, it's like encouraging someone to do harm to themselves or to others. It's Charles Manson. It's an interesting way to look at it. I understand there are free speech implications. I'm concerned about those as well, as a free speech advocate.
If Pam Bondi had all of a sudden, actually filed charges against her because of that statement, it would be unprecedented. Yeah. And I think if it gets to the point, it would be a different precedent being set. What she's saying is, I'm hearing all this rhetoric, and I'm seeing what's playing out. So I think members of Congress should tread lightly or tread carefully. And now, is that a threat of prosecution? Many of people are going to take it that way. However, I think it can also be an adult in the room saying, hey, you are an elected member of Congress. You have a responsibility to not encourage and make this a lot worse than it is, because right now we're seeing terroristic activities in our country, firebombing a place of business. That has no place in the United States of America, so you should tread carefully. And I think that actually is an appropriate statement from anyone that has a voice of reason, that they can put that forward. But she hasn't placed charges on Jasmine Crockett. No. But these people do need to realize
just a warning. It's more to say be careful.
There gets to be a point where the rhetoric you're using is having direct impact on people's lives, and they seem to forget that. They seem to forget that they are someone that people look up to. I know for our audience, that may be hard to believe that people look up to and take advice from these members of Congress that are so out there, but there are people that do. And I think that they need to be very careful when they're saying, I want to see him taken down on my birthday. Make it a birthday present for me.
With Jasmine Crockett, I think the main thing wasn't that she said, Elon Musk, I would love for Elon Musk to be taken down. Sure, you can interpret that as violent or not violent. But what she said was, for my birthday, March 29th. When you start saying that, I think you can infer something. I think you can actually probably look into what that would be. Now, do I think she'll be prosecuted for that? No. But the warning has been made.
Especially when you talk about a specific date of, if you're saying, I want his company to go out of business, that's not something that happens in a week.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where it can get concerning to law enforcement, especially that you're putting specific labels on times that you want something to happen. But also, I think to the caller's point, the 3 defendants that have been arrested and charged from the Department of Justice. If there were any coordination or communication, all that will come out. They're going to be looking through their digital footprint. They're going to be looking at what inspired it. And even many protests. We know the left is very good at organizing protests. They may not be directing the defendants to go and firebomb, but we know that when they pay for protests, when they get people and things start happening, 9 times out of 10, it seems like with the left, someone crazy and violent shows up to that and feels like they have cover because people are protesting. So it may not be directly, hey, we're going to fund this protest and pay someone to go throw Molotov cocktails. But unfortunately, a lot of crazy people think they have cover when there's a protest going on.